it's got to be a pretty easy decision for you to come on board to something like this because he's a friend and just a great guy and someone you like musically.
Yeah. Well, I've been a proponent of his music for many years, and have loved and endured his friendship for many years as well. And so a movie that would sort of bring his story to more people and tell the amazing story, the fascinating story of his life and music is one that I'm happy to help promote.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like everybody who knows him has a great story about him. What's your favorite Ike Reilly story?
Oh, I wouldn't even know where to start, man. Like back in the day, before he got sober, I would always say, you are one part Leonard Cohen and one part Otis the Town Drunk. We are just as likely to see you at Carnegie Hall as we are to see you on an episode of Cops. So kind of every day was that. But I don't know, we in 2007, we toured the country together. I did a Night Watchman, an acoustic tour, just the two of us in a van. And we had countless adventures, including one of my favorite was maybe veering 3 hours off our normal route to go visit Jesse James' home in Missouri, where he was shot, putting the picture up on the wall and having a lot of laughs and maybe a few drinks and to toast to his name. But that's sort of like on the rock and roll side. But my favorite memories of Ike are just like the laughs and the self-deprecating sense of humor and hanging out with him and his family over the course of decades.
Yeah. And the big question, that's in the movie is, why isn't he bigger? I mean, it's such a mystery.
Yeah. I mean, well, part of it is geographical, I'm sure. He is wedded to this 1 mile radius of America, which is Libertyville, Illinois, in part because of family and in part because of some mental illness, likely. He's made that decision to stay there. And I got out. Marlon Brando got out. Adam Jones from Tool got out. Brett Butler from the Dodgers got out. And Ike decided to plant his flag there. I don't know if his career would have been different otherwise, but I would say that despite the fact that there have not been tremendous commercial accolades, his living there and his staying there have only heightened his art. And also made his story a rich one. I contend that the best analogy for Ike Reilly is George Bailey and It's a Wonderful Life. As a young man, he had designs on traveling the world and had ideas of applying his talents in ways that everyone would know his name. And it didn't work out that way. But because of the family, the friendship, the bandmates, the life that he's made for himself in that nest of Libertyville, he really is, is in the richest man in town.
Yeah.
When it comes to soul. And I think that's a bet. I know a lot of people that play arenas and stuff like that don't have half the life that he does.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and now you also have in common. You're both getting to play a little bit with your kids, which is such a cool thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what an interesting turn that was too. Because he really was. He had the Ike Reilly Assassination, which is a great band. But in a lot of ways, he was very much a solo artist. And some of my favorite Ike Reilly is just him and an acoustic guitar sitting on a tour bus playing songs. But then the pandemic came along, and that beautiful little Ike Reilly family hour thing that they did was so endearing, and so harmonized with the best of him and his music. And then taking those I've known those little ragamuffin soccer players since they were born, and seeing those grown men on stage playing their own songs and singing along. It really is a kind of sharp-edged. Rock and roll rarely has such a authentically wholesome element as the Ike Reilly experience does, but it's there.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, and of course, your son looked up to you, his kids looked up to you, and so many kids have looked up on that stage for years and thought, see, that's what I want to do. You make it look so easy. It's not.
Yeah.
But what kind of advice do you give to those kids?
What kind of advice do you give those kids? Well, funny you should say that, because I just had my son out on tour, and
yeah,
And the advice that I'm not sure that Riley gives, I think in the Riley house, I think that his kids are giving him pretty sound advice. They're like, stop being an asshole. But the advice that I gave my son was, like the hard part, you take care of all of it in practice. And then when you get on stage, you just apply that. Like he'd done a few shows with me at, theaters or like a couple thousand seaters. And we did our first festival show in Madrid, 60,000 people. And beforehand, my 13-year-old son goes, Dad, this is my first festival show. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And he said, there's a lot of people out there. I'm like, that's right. He said, I'm a little nervous. I said, that's okay, because do you remember how to play the notes? He's like, yeah. Okay, well, we do too. So we've got your back. Just play those same notes like you did yesterday and have a good time. He was like, all right. And never look back.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, and you like this one. So my co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys, caught the Hail Mary, went in the Hall of Fame, and he wanted me to make sure that I asked you your Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you.
Well, first of all, give my love and respect to Drew Pearson. I'm a huge football fan and collected his football card as a youth. Yes. Hail Mary moment. That is a really good one right there. I would say that my Hail Mary moment was this. When I was dropped from my record label, I was in a band called Lockup on Geffen Records, and I'd never known anyone that had a record deal before. And I was, I had my chance at the brass ring, and it didn't work out. I had a couple $100 in the bank account, and I had tried. I had listened to what managers and producers and record company people had said to try to be successful. It hadn't worked out, and I was done. I had my one chance, and I blew it. And I remember sitting on my couch in my little apartment in Hollywood, and I said, you know what, man? If I'm not going to be famous, I'm never going to play another note of music that I don't believe in. Mm-hmm. And I stuck to that for the next 21 albums. And it was that shift of North Star from trying to be successful to being an authentic artist, which is what created music that ended up connecting with people. That was my thing.
Well, part of that is that success mindset. And we talk about that on the show all the time. It's like you have to put yourself in it, whether or not you're feeling it or not. And we're tough on ourselves as and maybe it's the same thing for Ike too. But is there something you keep in mind that keeps you on the right path?
I don't know. I mean, one of the things that I've sort of in my older age have reflected on is that, that every failure is a great opportunity. And just another, like, for example, I bought this guitar. The first check I got from having a real job, I invested $1,500, $600 on a nice guitar, and it was terrible, sounded terrible, looked terrible, played terrible, and through the years, a couple of years, I changed every part. I hated my amp sound, this, that, and the other. And one day I finally gave up. I spent a couple hours, just got it as close as I could. I did not like the sound, but I said, you know what? I'm spending so much of sort of my mental power and energy worrying about this gear that I'm not writing songs. And I just said, you know what? This is my sound. And then I'm just going to create whatever I can from this. And that guitar with those settings was played on every Rage song, every Audio Slave song, every Prophets of Rage song. The tour that solo tour I did last summer, I have the same amp with the same settings that I made on that day. And so the failure of finding of the journey, which led to the failure of finding a sound that was mine, led to the discovery of the sound that really was mine.
I love it. Well, last thing, of course, it's an election year. We thought we would see more Rage Against the Machine right about now. Right? But what are we going to hear from you next? And also, what do you want people to take away from this movie? Because there's a lot going on here.
Sure. Well, for me next, I'm working on my first ever solo rock album, and I continue to work with my co-writer Roman Morello, as he said very immodestly 2 nights ago, Dad, I'm a riff machine. I was like, I can't argue with that. And as far as what I want people to get out of this movie, one is it's a beautiful story of a true rock and roll lifestyle. And I don't mean that in a cliched way, but someone who deeply believes in the music they're making and is making music of such an incredible high quality that somehow they've the spirit of that music, the spirit of that artist in the roots of this tiny American town has forged a story that is as great as the art that he creates. And so you should definitely check it out.
Oh, that's wonderful. We're going to tell everyone to check it out. Thank you so much for your time, the great answers. We're going to tell Drew you said hey, and I look forward to talking again soon.
Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Have a great
Thanks so much. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.